Hello and welcome to the PMC Q&A. This is where I answer your questions. Sometimes we go on a rant and sometimes my answers are very casual, right? So we keep things casual here, we keep things light-hearted here. For the heavy stuff, check out our other videos as well. Now, if you have a question for me that you want me to take up and answer, drop it in the comment of this video and I will take it up in my next video. Also, sometimes people want to add more context. They want to share links. They want to share other videos. They want to share screenshots. You can do so by sending in your questions at admin@pmclounge.com. All right, with that being said, let's take up the 5 questions that I will be answering today. First one comes in from someone who works in the PMO, and they say that we struggle with resource assignments. We simply don't have enough people to meet the demand. So if you're working in the PMO, your resource assignments, when you say, you're basically talking about project managers. So I am assuming that you either lead this PMO or you work on assigning project managers to the projects that are basically reaching you and people are asking you for project managers. Now, a lot of times this might seem like a planning failure, right? This might feel like, PMO is not planning adequately to have more project managers. But most of the times, this is an organizational blindness issue because many PMO leaders operate in the dark as they don't have a single centralized view of which project manager is working on what. And even if they do, sometimes resource managers take decisions on the PMO leader's behalf. They come with a specific project manager to be assigned on their project because they may have good relationship with that project manager. So what ends up happening is that some project managers have very high demand and they cannot be assigned to every single project, right? And that is where you have this resource assignment issue as well. Now, the number one thing that I suggest PMOs do is that they should start treating PMO like a business function, not a separate department, not just one team of project managers, right? Think of PMO like a separate business function, just like HR, just like finance, right? So think about this. If you go to the finance team and you tell them that, hey, I need 2 weeks off, what are they going to tell you? They are going to tell you that you should go to the HR department because they are going to be the ones who will have the leave policy and they are the ones who are going to approve your leaves. This is finance department. Similarly, you as a PMO need to finalize what all services you are going to offer. Some people will just come in and say that, we need a project manager for so and so project, so and so initiative, right? Because they need someone to manage everything. That is not the job of the PMO. You need to decide what all services the PMO is going to offer. And secondly, the other suggestion I have here is to bridge strategy and execution, right? Your job as someone who works in the PMO is not just to track how many hours a project manager is spending on so and so project, right? Your job is to align resources with priority, right? So, what is the organization's strategy and how you're going to execute it, right? That is where PMO sits. So, if you lack team resources, if you don't have enough project managers, you need to look at the business strategy, your organization's strategy, and based on that strategy, assign project managers on projects that align with that business strategy, right? So you have to ruthlessly prioritize based on the strategic value of the projects that require project managers, not just who is available right now to work on so and so project and you assign them that project, right? So those are a couple of things that you can do to ensure that you don't face this resource assignment issue in your PMO. All right, question number 2, what is PMP audit and how to avoid it? Number one thing here, you cannot avoid audit, right? This is a random process. So don't avoid it, don't panic. People getting audited does not mean that they did something wrong or that PMI suspects them of lying about something, right? It is totally random. It is a random selection process which is used to maintain the quality and the value of the PMP certification, right? So don't panic. The process is pretty straightforward, but it is time sensitive, right? So you have 90 days to submit your audit package, which basically includes three things, right? Your copies of your degree or diploma, whatever educational qualification that you have. You may have the second thing here is you need to provide signatures. This can be digital or physical, from your references, and your references could be your managers, your supervisors, even your colleagues, right? So these are the people who sign off on your work experience in project management. And number three is the copies of the certificates of your 35 contact hours, right? Which is mandatory to sit for the PMP exam, right? So the copy of your certificate. So those are the three things that you need to provide. I have done a video where I have detailed how I approved a colleague's reference. I'll share a link to that video also in the description below. The strategy here is that you should be honest and you should be organized. You can gather all these documents, you should get the digital or physical signatures, and you should submit everything in one go. So if you're mailing, if you're doing a physical mail, just put everything in one envelope and mail it out. Or if you are uploading digital copies, do it in a single session. Now, once PMI is going to receive this complete package, they typically review it within 5 to 7 business days. And as long as you are truthful in your application, this is just a minor speed bump. This is not a roadblock. So do not panic. There is no way to avoid the PMP audit if you are selected for it. It is totally random. It does not mean that PMI suspects you of anything. Okay, question number 3. Do you need to wear the hat of a product manager in the PMP exam? So there are questions from the business environment side of things that may feel like they are asking you questions where you should wear the hat of a product manager, right? But the question here is, if PMP exam belongs to the project management field, why are you being asked questions around product management, right? Now, first of all, you have to understand the difference. The project manager focuses on the outputs or the deliverables, right? And the temporary effort to create those deliverables, like schedule, budget, resources, right? And then there's a product owner or a product manager, and this person focuses on outcomes. This person focuses on value and the long term life cycle of the item, like your ROI, market fit, future updates, everything, right? So this is what the product manager focuses on. Now, obviously, the question remains, if PMP is an exam for project management, why should you act as a product manager sometimes? The answer here is that you need to wear the hat of a value delivery leader, someone whose focus is to deliver value, not just manage tasks, right? You are not a task manager. Project manager is not just managing tasks. Project manager is also, not just keeping the project constraints in check. Project manager is delivering value. So sometimes PMP is going to test your understanding of value delivery as well. So the correct hat is the person who is responsible for delivering value. It could be the product manager in some questions, and it will be the project manager in most of the questions. So you have to think from that vantage point, basically. Okay, question number 4. Someone on LinkedIn is promising 100% guaranteed PMP pass in 10 days only. Should I go for it? This is a pretty old scam that a lot of people tend to think about because PMP requires a lot of studies, right? So, 100% guaranteed and just in 10 days. What's not to like about this, right? So, they also typically say that they will have a certified trainer remotely take the exam for you. So, first and foremost, this is illegal, right? So, should I go for it? The answer is an absolute big fat no. But I'm also telling you that this is illegal. You can end up with an actual police case if you opt for this option. And needless to say, this is also incredibly dangerous for your career. This practice is also known as proxy testing, right? So there's a name for this practice, and this scam is so old, they call it proxy testing. And this is where you basically give a criminal organization remote access to your computer, and they then answer the questions for you. Obviously, this is only possible if you are taking up the PMP exam from home, right? But the risks are actually very massive. First of all, PMI is using sophisticated algorithms and technology to detect how questions are answered. And if you are caught, you will be stripped of your certification, you will be banned from PMI for life, and you will be potentially sued as well. And that's where I said that you might end up with a police case on you. Secondly, once these trainers have remote access, right, people who are proxy testing for you, they can also steal your personal data. It can include stuff like bank details, even passwords, right? And I've heard of cases where they pass the exam for you and then they demand thousands of dollars in blackmail, and they threaten to report you to PMI if you don't pay. And thirdly, as an expert, I can tell you that PMP is only valuable if you actually have the competence to lead projects, right? A proxy might get you a piece of paper that has your name and has the PMP certification, right? But you are going to fail the first day on the job when you cannot apply the knowledge on real life projects. Needless to say, if you are looking for changing jobs, you are going to fail the project manager interview. In fact, I did a video about how some people relied too much on PMP and failed drastically in the job interviews. It is actually a funny skit. That video will be linked in the description below. So here's my pragmatic advice for you. Don't gamble with your integrity. You should use our legitimate 50-day PMP study plan. It is available for free on our website, linked in the description again. Get your 35 contact hours the right way. You should also check our playlists out, right? Every single concept that you need to know for your PMP exam is already available on this YouTube channel, and it is absolutely free. So prepare well and earn this gold standard project management certification honestly. That's my last piece of advice. Finally, question number 5, are contact hours and PDUs the same thing, and how to earn them? So contact hours and PDUs are not the same. You should think of contact hours as your entry ticket, and you should think of PDUs as your maintenance fee. So contact hours are basically 35 hours of learning that you need before the PMP exam, right? So to be eligible for the PMP exam, you need these 35 contact hours. And then in order to keep your certification valid and active, you need 60 PDUs every 3 years to basically renew your certificate. So you might think, why do I need 60 PDUs once I have already passed my PMP exam, right? Because the world changes. You cannot rely on knowledge from 3 years ago when you actually passed your PMP exam. So you need to stay updated on new trends. It can be agile, it can be artificial intelligence. So here's the strategy. You can earn these 60 PDUs by watching webinars. You can take new courses and certifications, like you go for CSM, you go for PMI ACP, PMOCP, right? Even SAFE. You can attend training. And here's a tip: do not binge and do not procrastinate. We see people cramming all 60 hours in the first month itself. Some people panic in the last week, right? So you should instead spread your learning out gradually over the 3 years. That's the whole point, right? So once you finish whatever activity that you did, once you, let's say, attended a webinar, you can report the PDUs from that webinar to PMI. We have done videos in the past sharing websites that offer free PDUs. Even our courses help you earn PDUs. So you can check out the courses tab if you're watching this on YouTube. You can also check our courses on Udemy and Skillshare. A lot of them are free and they offer free PDUs. Finally, we also have videos on how to submit PDUs and renew your PMP certification step by step. All of them will be linked in the description below. So I hope you got value out of this video. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments or send an email to admin@pmclounge.com. Definitely consider subscribing. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.